Right, so in the last video we learnt how to do a straight stitch. Today we're going to learn a back stitch. I've chosen a different colour thread, still using 3 strands, tied a knot in the end and trimmed the excess. Now these colours I've chosen from my loose ends pot, which means that I'm not wasting anything here. It's a good idea to have one. So let's take our needle, pick up the hoop. Remember, this is my little test hoop that I'm going to be teaching you the stitches on. I'm just checking the tension, keep that fabric nice and flat but not pulled too tightly. Okay, so back stitch essentially starts off a bit like straight stitch, but we're going to do it a little bit smaller. So I'm going to make a nice small little straight stitch here with this lovely red thread. There we go. Okay, so we're not pulling it too tightly, like exactly like that, just a little bit smaller. Now with back stitch though, what you're doing is you're making a series of little stitches the same size, and you're basically joining them together in one long line. So if you can see here, I've come up through the fabric the same distance away as the length of the first stitch, and I'm going to go right back in where, right back in where the first stitch ended. You're basically going into that same hole there, and that's really important so that they join together. Pull it through nice and carefully, and you've got 2 back stitches all joined together. So keep stitching, keep all of your stitches the same size if you can. Don't worry if they're slightly different, it doesn't matter. The more you practice, the more even they'll become. So I'm just going to go along in this line for you. There you go, you can see we've made a nice long line. Now I've done a straight line up to now, but the great thing about back stitches, because they're usually smaller than straight stitches, you can actually curve really easily. That's why I love using this stitch for lettering. It's so simple, really easy to do. You can get all of those curves stitched really nicely. So I'm just freestyling here around the corner, but again, if you prefer to draw something on and stitch over it, then that's absolutely fine. I'm not going to make you freestyle at this early stage of the project if you don't want to, so please just do whatever's comfortable for you. There we go. Lovely back stitches. Okay, that's what they look like in reverse, so you can see they're all joined together. They've got the individual straight stitches, but the back stitches are different because they're one continuous line. So we just need to finish off the back. As I said in the previous video, not everybody likes knots. I like knots. So the key to the knots though is to get them close to the fabric. So you can see there that I've got that first one pretty close. I'm going to put the needle around the back again and notice that it's very close to the fabric before I gently pull and get them both together. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to trim the excess with my handy scissors. There we are. So, second stitch is back stitch.